Fireside Chat with Hirschberg and Kiilu.
All right.
So I have to say, the first thing I wanted to do was Kiilu and Jim made so much fun of me for not having a fireplace when we did the first one that I lit a candle just for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're welcome Joe Peña, who is, everybody knows Josie's the executive director. And we thought, what better way to finish out the fiscal year of Fireside Chat than having Jill, on as our guest, as she will be retiring. What is it, December?
December 31st.
Wow. So first and foremost, Jill, just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. You have just been phenomenal. I know I'm not the only one that feels as though, I swear I don't think you ever sleep, because I send emails at all, hours of the day and you respond. And just wanted to say you and your staff have just done an outstanding job, and you will absolutely be missed.
Well, and I will miss all of you, although the beauty of the thing is that you keep the relationships that mean a lot to you. And so a lot of my friends at the Aaml, I'm sure that they are keeping in touch with me with text and emails. And when I'm in their town traveling the country, we'll be able to drop in and see you.
And if you're ever in Arizona, make sure you look me up. We'll go play some golf. We'll have, drink some bourbon or scotch or whatever you want, and we will have a blast.
And, as I'm retiring, that's one of the things that we will be doing. My roommate and I, we've been friends we figured out 48 years.
Wow.
And so we've got a travel trailer. I got my truck, and we are going to be exploring the USA. So we're excited.
Nice.
Kiilu, did you pour yourself a drink?
I did not pour myself a drink. I played golf today, and so if I have anything, I need to probably have more water than.
Well, I'm going to cheers Jill on an amazing career and say thank you for everything that you've done. Obviously for the Aaml, the latest, but you were with the ABA, right, for forever. And so
Forever.
So, wishing you a great next chapter in life, and thank you for everything.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hirschberg, what are you drinking?
Well, first of all, I'm actually Jim Mueller, but in the essence of Halloween, I dressed up as Hirschberg. I want everyone to know that. That's number one. Number two, I'm drinking Macallan.
Okay.
Single rock. So I switched it up. I think last time I had tequila, and this time I'm doing Macallan.
All right.
I'm a Lagavulin girl myself, so.
All right, very good.
Like a really peaty scotch.
Do you have a drink, Jill?
I don't have one. I forgot to bring one. So.
Wow. Holy cow. What's going on with that?
You all left me.
Fireside chat without a drink.
Well, I can go get one really quick if you like.
Get one. I think she should, right?
Absolutely.
I'll be right back.
All right.
There's always improvement.
Lagavulin.
Okay.
When are you flying into Chicago, Monday or Tuesday?
I think we get in Monday night.
Okay. And I fly out Tuesday morning.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll be in by about lunchtime Tuesday.
Tuesday, that's so you're not going to the New Fellows stuff.
That's Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday is Tuesday is XCOM.
And then since I talked with you and I talked with Jim, and they said because I'm technically still considered a new fellow for like the first 2 years.
3 years.
But I guess the consensus was because I went through everything last year to come down at about 11 a.m. for the end, and then go with you guys to Pinstripe. So that's my plan on Wednesday.
Okay.
Is to come down at 11. Kind of cleared it with the powers to be, like with you and with Jim. They said no reason to do all of the new stuff that you already heard, and to do that. So that's my plan. And I'm going to a dine around Tuesday night and all of that. So
Okay.
Well, the whole thing with the orientation is to get people knowing how to get involved, and obviously you've excelled at that. So
Thank you.
that's,
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. All right. So she's got it. What are you drinking, Jill?
I am drinking a 16-year-old Lagavulin Scotch.
Oh, wow. Yeah, scotch. Yeah, good for you. All right.
All right. So, Jill, I guess, are you going to miss everybody? Are you going to miss this? Like, looking into retirement, you look back and you say, oh my gosh, are you ready to retire, or are you looking at it and saying, oh, you know what, I kind of want to work a little bit more? Or do you think like you're going to be done with this and then 6 months later you're going to be like, oh, the retirement thing's not for me?
I am ready for this. I am right at retirement age. I have worked since I got out of college, full stop. I've done some amazing things. And although I love what I do, I really do, it's gotten hard. We are facing staffing. It's hard to find staff. It's hard to train staff. And so I think that really for the academy to move forward, this is an important thing for them to have the resources that can move you guys even to the next step. And so I think it's a good thing, actually.
And then, people talk about the key to retirement is finding ways to fill your day, right? So how are you going to find ways to fill your day? You said that you want to travel, but I'm assuming you can't travel 365 days a year for the next, 30 years, unless that's your plan. So how do you intend to fill your days?
Well, I am the oldest of 6 children. All of my siblings are retired. I was very jealous. My sister and brother-in-law decided to hook up and go on a trip to see to Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, and got to see a bunch of stuff on the spur of the moment. So one of the things that I want to do is spend more time with my family. I find I'm missing stuff, missing funerals because I'm at a meeting or whatever. So I want to make sure that I'm there for them, especially the younger generation coming up. So I have a lot of nephews and nieces, great nephews and nieces. Lord help me, I've got my first great niece. So I've got a lot of family to keep track of. So that's one of them. And yeah, we do really want to travel. I said we brought our our travel trailer a few years ago, and we go on one family vacation because I've only been able to take like a whole week at a time without a whole lot of work. So I want to be in the moment. A few years ago, my brother-in-law, who had ALS, we went on a trip to Arizona before I started working for the Aaml. First time in my whole life I'd ever taken a vacation without having work. And so he just taught me how to be in the moment, whether we were at the Grand Canyon or whether we were looking at arches. And he had limited mobility. That was the last trip that he was able to take. And it just really brought home to me, we don't have unlimited time. And so you need to look at the phase of your life and decide, I don't want to wait until I can't see. I don't want to wait till I'm immobile to be able to do the things that I want to do. I played golf twice this year, once at mid-year and once at a charity for one of the organizations that are around here. Twice. Kiilu, I only played golf twice.
If you look at Kiilu's face, you can actually see a tear.
I know.
Like you can see it. I mean, it's hard to make him emotional, right? But he is emotional
I
right now.
played golf twice this weekend. And I went to the range on Friday.
He played twice during this Zoom. I mean, for God's sake.
So, I want to get my game up and to par again. I mean, I want to be able to go out and enjoy it. I've got friends who play. I've got brothers who play. So that's one way. I'm also pretty active in our church. I sing in our church choir. We have about 100-person choir. There's a lot of opportunities to. We have a big church, so it's getting involved in that again, and more time than I can spend right now. And the other thing I'm kind of rolling in my head again is becoming a CASA again. I was a court-appointed special advocate between the time I worked for the ABA and the time I worked for the AAML. This job doesn't really let you have a lot of time the time that is really necessary to spend with a child that you're advocating for. So that's also on the back of my mind to get back to doing that as well. So there's a lot that I can do.
So what is, in your travels, I'm assuming everybody's got a bucket list. What are like the three top places on your bucket list?
Well, one of the things we will do within a couple months of my retirement is take a trip to Egypt for about 4 weeks. We have a good friend who used to work with my roommate, Pat, and she has houses in Cairo, Alexandria, and on the Red Sea. So if that works out, spending time there, we definitely, though, as soon as we're retired, head to Switzerland to visit friends in Switzerland. My bucket list group of where I want to go, Spain is very high on it. I've never been to Spain. I love the south of France, but I'd like to go to Normandy and spend some. I'm a huge history buff, so spending some time in the upper part of France. And like I said, I've never been to Africa, so that's like another one that, aside from Egypt, to do something down in another part of Africa would be great. So,
Like, do you want to do like a safari and do some of
yeah,
that stuff?
a photo safari.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I do now anyways. I do a lot of photography. So I have one long lens, but I'd have to get a longer lens to capture what I want to do there. So
Kiilu, what's on your bucket list? What are your three places that you want to do on your bucket list?
I've never even thought about it. I don't even know if I have a bucket list of places I need
Make
to go
one
to.
right now, right here. Put you on the spot.
Uh,
Rattle off three places that interest you that you've never been to.
just the first one at the top of your
Brazil,
Where?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Brazil. Awesome.
Yeah, I'd say Brazil. Um, maybe Scotland,
Oh my God, you'll love Scotland. It's gorgeous.
and then actually, I know I would say I've always wanted to go fishing in Alaska during the
Hmm.
salmon run.
Have you ever been to Alaska, period?
No,
All right.
no, and then I've had my family's done like the trip, like the cruise type thing, but I've never been able to do that because
That's what I was asking if you had ever done like the cruise or something.
never done the cruise or anything else. So I guess that would be it. Any place. I was just talking with some friends. Any place that I could golf and fish, I'd be Look, I'll call that my bucket list.
Got it.
What about you?
Italy and Greece are right up there. Was supposed to go for my 10th wedding anniversary. My anniversary is February 20th. And so February 20th, 2020 was my 9th anniversary. My wife and I sat at our anniversary dinner and we decided that we were going to do Italy and Greece for our 10th wedding anniversary and that we would start planning it soon. What happened a couple weeks later? COVID.
Yeah. But you
So
gotta make sure you honor that because you outkicked your coverage on that one, right?
oh, I married way up.
Yeah.
And
Ain't
you
gonna
know
lie. I like you and all, but yeah, you I don't know if it was like a roofie or something, and then she
it's
just didn't have
true.
the heart to tell you that she was leaving or something, but
I absolutely married up, and so we've had that discussion about when we're going to do it and honoring that. I agree. So
So when we get together, David, in Chicago, I'll
Mhm.
share some photos that I took between, well, we did Venice, Florence, Rome, and Cinque Terre.
Oh, wow.
There was like no place there that I wouldn't have gone to again.
I would love to sit with you and see your photos. I enjoy that. I really do. So
I've always said like so Rome is the place that I think I spent a week in Rome and it wasn't enough time. I felt like I you know, like I went to the war memorial, I did everything, just had the greatest time, and it felt like there was so much more to see. And then Venice is like one of those places where you one, I think you got to be like, I don't know, a little older. You got to be with like, a significant other to really enjoy Venice. For me, Venice was like, yeah, not so much.
I
Florence,
agree.
Florence was awesome. That was like a college, it seemed like a college town. It was just like that's where all the college kids were. It was the greatest time in the world. And then what is it, Pisa? I think that was like we took a train to Pisa, got out, saw it, and then got back on. It was like that.
you did
I,
it, right?
I was more impressed with the aqueduct in the back of Pisa than I was with the tower itself.
Exactly. The tower is just kind of like, oh, that's it. Oh, cool. And then it was literally time to go.
And everybody says that when they get there, the tower is smaller than they were expecting. So
But yeah, and Kiilu, I'll tell you the best place you can go golfing. It's in the States, but if you go up to Kohler, Wisconsin,
yeah, Kohler, Wisconsin. You ever gone golfing in Kohler, Wisconsin?
oh my gosh, we did both Black Hawk Run and one of the links courses on Lake Michigan. But when we were there in the fall, and as we're golfing, the salmon were running.
Okay. See, I fished in Racine, Wisconsin, when the salmon were running, and I've done that. And so I just didn't bring my clubs at the time. But yeah, I got to get back to Wisconsin and play.
Jill, you'll appreciate this. My family is all from Chicago, and my
Ah,
sister lives in Chicago. And her favorite place to do a quick vacation to, not overall vacation, but quick, she goes
right,
to
right.
Kohler. She loves when she needs like a recharge weekend, she goes to Kohler to recharge.
Aside from the golf, it's the only course I've ever been to where I hit every single bathroom on the course because they were all amazing.
All right, random question for you all. In honor of Halloween, I'm going to ask just a crazy question. Okay. You can have one candy for the rest of your life, and that's it. There's no other candy. It has to be one. And I take out all the calories. So you can never have another candy ever. And you have to live on, you can have one candy for the rest of your life. What is it?
Twix.
Mine too, Twix. Without a doubt. You, Kiilu?
Take five.
Big five. Wow.
What is that? A whatchamacallit? But take
Is
five.
it Big Five or is it Take Five?
Take five.
Take Five. Take Five. Yeah, that's good. Without a doubt. No one even hesitated.
Nope.
Their answers.
No, the caramel and chocolate all together, you got me at every time.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's where take five is so much better. Oh my
Because it
god.
has all the other stuff. I know what you're saying. And whatchamacallit's really good. Um, yeah, those are good. So
I could eat take fives every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
I love the
I do
different
love
ways that
some
you can eat a
Twix. I
Twix.
do love me Twix, but
I like the different ways that you can eat a Twix, right? You just bite into it normal. You can like separate, the two layers.
you can eat the left one or you can eat the right one.
They
And you
taste
can eat the
different.
right
I
one or
swear
you
they
can eat
taste
the left
different.
one. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So Joe, looking back and what are some of your fondest memories? First, I'll just go with, coming into the academy. What are some of your fondest memories within the academy in terms of what you've done?
I think my fondest memory and the thing that I am proudest of is getting my team coalesced, taking the disparate parts of, the staff that we had, and we became a team. And I'm really proud of that, because I don't think we could have ever accomplished what we did without the talents of the people that were with me. And that if David, you weren't around when the first newsletters were out, and they were visually uninteresting. Content was good, but it just didn't flow. There were no videos, there were no it just was not the same. And I think I'm really proud of the fact that that has become what it has become. And so we owe that to a lot of people. Travel wise with the Academy, there's too many. When we were at an executive committee in September with the AFCC, and we were in Washington, D.C., the funniest one I can remember is we were going out to dinner. And so there were about 7 of us who piled into this cab, who took all 7 of us. So luckily spouses were sitting on spouses' laps, but we were all crammed into this taxi to get to our thing. It was like a clown car when we got out, but it was really one of the funniest and best memories I have.
Then looking back over, overall in general, with regards to your career,
Mm-hmm.
some of the most things that you're most proud of.
I think the relationships that I've developed with, leaders in both organizations, AAML and ABA. I still have friends who will call me from the ABA and chat, and when I'm in their town, they want to have lunch with me or dinner with me, and we catch up. And that's been a very very important part of what association is to me, is the relationships you build. And I've built those with so many, not just the leaders in the AAML, but a lot of the members. I sing Alex Lecter when I get into the thing, darling, where have you been? And all the hugs and stuff that I get. That's really important, and it's kind of making me a little bit nervous about annual meeting, because saying goodbye to a lot of people will be a little difficult, I think.
Yeah, especially when I won't let you go. I tie you up and put you in my suitcase and take you home with me and say you're not retiring, Joe.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how it happens. So
Little
you're gonna.
chloroform. Hey, it is what it is.
So is this like you have to go to the annual meeting, you have to get through it, and then once you get through it, you start thinking about transitioning to the end of the year?
We're actually in the active process of transitioning. So we're working with the company that's going to take over. And so we are really, our goal is to be as smooth a transition as possible. I'm not exactly totally coming off the face of the earth. And if somebody needs something that only I would know, hopefully I've already conveyed it, but if, things fall through the cracks, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not talking to you about this. I'm done. I don't think you can quite turn off what you've done for the Academy and just say, well, you're on your own now. So a certain extent.
Professionally responsible thing to do, I guess, and it's you care, and so that's reflective. That attitude is reflective of somebody who cares. So, which you do,
Yeah, I mean, I do love the Academy and I love the people. It's time for me to move on.
Are you going to the dance Saturday night?
Of course.
You
I've got my
you have your outfit picked out and everything?
I have my outfit picked out. I just have to find my shoes.
Oh, okay. Kiilu, you got your outfit ready
For what?
for the dance Saturday night?
What dance?
Saturday Night Fever. Oh, now he's acting.
Yeah, now he's acting up. Tara needs to hit him upside his head to get him.
He spent like $5,000 on his baseball cap last year. I can't wait to hear, what he comes up with for this one. It's gonna be amazing, right? My guess is he probably went to John Travolta's house and convinced him to loan him the suit from Saturday Night Fever. I just knowing Kiilu, that's something he would do.
That hat was, hey, that
That hat was awesome. There's
Yes.
no doubt that hat was awesome.
And so, Jill, just
And I had a game worn jersey last year. It
you
was a Peña game worn jersey from the
Yeah.
White Sox. So
and Jill, since this is like, on your eve of retirement, I thought, we'd be able to bring some people in just to brighten.
Is that who you were texting with?
What's
Is
that?
that who you were texting with and doing this? Is that?
I got all sorts of,
oh,
things up my sleeve today.
You have more connections than AT&T. Let's just face it right now. That's what's going on here. So,
Hello, Mary.
Mary.
Hello, Jill. Hello, Kiilu. Hello, David.
hi, Mary, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
My 4 o'clock emailing buddy. O'clock in the morning, I'm emailing Mary. And the same
That's
thing is
true.
she's answering.
What are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh my God.
So for those of you guys who don't know, Mary, as part of like one of her thousands of jobs that she does, awesome, is responsible for the editing of the Fireside Chats. So she is the one who makes, myself, Mueller, Hirschberg, she makes us look good and makes it sound like, we haven't flubbed through a bunch of stuff and, everything's PG rated. So Mary, thank you for that. We do have Jill had to go get a drink. So we're going to have something where you're going to have to maybe, edit just a little bit. But other than that, like always, we've actually done a pretty good job of making sure we don't ruin our career.
And
Well,
I don't care about ruining my career. So
It's only because Kiilu decided to not drink tonight, or else if you had any more drinks there, we might be, skirting the edge a little bit.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
So Mary, what's it been like
Yeah.
working with Jill?
to put her on the
So
spot.
is this a roast or?
Remember, if you don't like your answer, you can always edit it out.
I know. I thought of that before I joined because I was like, oh. I gotta say, Jill, the first time I met you, I really didn't know what to think. I really didn't. I was, but you were just taking it all in. You were real casual and quiet, and I knew you were checking it all out and assimilating. Okay, what did I get myself into here? You seemed really nice. So I was just hoping you were going to be nice and you'd keep me on. That was really pretty much it at that point. You assured me you would. You kept your word. The only thing you ever asked, and we were just talking about this the other day, was that we let you know if something went awry so that you wouldn't be blindsided. That was the only thing that she had asked. So I was like, well, that's fair. I get that. No one wants that. So that was a small ask. And as time went on, I could see you definitely were the person for the job. You walked in at a time that anyone weaker would have walked away. You had a lot to deal with. You had a lot on your plate. And then you had to deal with the onset and duration of a pandemic. And you handled everything, with grace. You handled everything just really, you're great at flying by the seat of your pants. You are super calm and you just go with the flow. You never wavered. You just, I don't know, really level-headed. Things can be really stressful here. I know this is long-winded, Kiilu, but I gotta say, she was the first person that saw me here and allowed me to flourish. that I wasn't going to cry. But I'm seriously forever grateful for that. So
It's really beautiful.
then there was Susan and Elizabeth, but this isn't their interview. A couple more things. You made this a really fun job. You knew the secret. You knew that when you help others, it's contagious, and they will in turn turn around and help others, and so on and so on. And that's what you did. You just consistently did that. The fellows are so much going to miss you. You gave them constant contact and availability and an earnest desire to assist them in any way that you could. You facilitated ways to assist them and brainstorm more ways how to make their membership better. You helped us to do that. You allowed that. There was a lot of growth during your, during your time as a director. People will remember you, Jill, and they'll remember you fondly. You have been wonderful for this academy and the staff, and we'll miss you very, very much.
And all I can say is that, and I've said it in board meetings and everything else, nobody does this by themselves. It's really a team effort. And, anything I asked Mary to do, she did. And then we found out, oh, she can do graphics. Oh, she can do editing. Oh, she can, and she just continued on, just doing everything that she could to make this organization good. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we've melded as a team to get the work done and to do it happily. I mean, not like, oh, let's hang it up. But, we've loved talking to some of these people and hearing their stories, especially some of the older ones who just want 5 minutes to talk about when I was doing X, Y, or Z. And it really does bring to mind that this academy is unique in that it's built on not only our future leaders, but the leaders that have given so much in all these years. And it's really wonderful to be a part of that.
Well, job well done. Thank you. Hats off to you.
And I'll call you at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah, it ain't over yet.
I still don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm still gonna have to train myself not to send Jill emails at all hours and be like, hey, come out, I haven't gotten the response yet. Jill, where are you? That's gonna be the hard thing. It's like, everything. I know change is good, and Jill, you say this is what's best for the academy moving forward, but I'm a creature of habit. I like those things, and it's kind of one of those. But you're right, Mary. It's like you especially with the both of you guys, I see how much you guys delve into this and give your heart and soul to this. It's only natural. Jill says, Kiilu, can you do this? Or Mary says, hey, can you do this? I'm just automatically like, yeah, absolutely. Because I know that when I ask you guys for something, you're gonna, do whatever you can to make sure that you can facilitate that for me. And so you're right, Mary, it is just contagious. So, but yeah, it's so Jill, who's your favorite staff member?
Depends on what I need at the moment.
Great answer. That's actually a really great answer.
That is a good answer. That's a good answer. So Mary, do you have any questions for Jill?
What are you gonna do?
Travel, spend time with my family.
Visit Arizona.
Visit Arizona. I love Arizona.
Work on her golf game. She said work on her golf game.
My
She
golf
wants to
game.
work on it. Yeah.
Maybe go back to being a casa.
By the way, this all makes sense because I remember when I got into the academy last year and you emailed me, and I got in September, and so it was like, there was like 6 weeks to go to Chicago, but you and other people wanted me to go, and I had all these questions, I figured I would send an email and it would take you however long to respond. Every time I sent an email, it was like an instant response from you. Now it all makes, I'm not used to like executive directors being that responsive. You were just like, you were such a great resource. And it wasn't just the quick response, it's the warmth of response that you gave, which, you know, it all makes sense now. So looking back on that, you know, sometimes they say the little things, you know, mean the most. So hats off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a person out there that is going to say that it hasn't been a pleasure, Jill. It's been truly, and it's not just that it's been a pleasure, it's been an honor, because everything you've done, you have done it with grace. Everything that you've done, you have done it with the best interest of the Academy at heart. Everything you have done, you know, out of true, you know, love for not only what you do, but for the membership itself. And, you know, that truly showed and does show. So, you know, everyone, I think you were going to be right. Chicago is going to be difficult for you because there's going to be tons and tons of people who are going to, like, you know, say, can't you just stay a little bit longer? Won't you change your mind? You're going to have to answer that question so many times, over and over and over. I think you might as well either just have a little button and have a little recording. You could have Mary do that for you. Mary could do a little video,
Sure.
and then
Make you a t-shirt.
and then you just press it. Here, just press this, and then it can just
Please don't ask, because the answer is no. I'm not changing my, just have the button that says I'm not changing my mind. That's it. That's it.
So if you look at it in like the grand scheme of things, and you say, because you've had a bunch of different jobs,
Mhm.
what is or what has been your dream job? And then the second part of that question is, I know everything that we does just makes us stronger and it just prepares us for the next thing, but is there anything that you would do differently?
I think I would have looked at membership and the application process closer than I was able to when I was drinking from the fire hose. And Angela was very competent at getting things done, but we've streamlined the process quite a bit. And we have changed to it being a year by the time your application was reviewed, to being accepted in the Academy, to 6 months, 8 months. We're moving people who have applied through the process a lot quicker than we had done before. And I wish I'd have gotten my hands around that sooner. But there's a lot of pieces to it. And that's the thing that I wish I'd have done differently.
Okay. And then the dream job part. Have you had your dream job, or what was your dream job, or, you know, how would you answer that?
I think this has been my dream job. Now, I loved working at the ABA. I was there for 27 years, as you know. Progressively did things. I mean, I still am invited whenever health law is in town to come and have dinner with the gang, etc. But there was a lot of bureaucracy with the ABA. There were a lot of, you know, answering to my boss, who answered to her boss, who answered to the executive director. And in this job, although I was responsible for everything, and obviously responsive to the leadership, etc., that the bureaucracy that I was so used to in the ABA was not part of this. And that really kind of made this a dream job. I felt like I had
through that in order to appreciate this as much as you did?
Absolutely. And it really did help me. And that was very good. I mean, there were reasons that there was bureaucracy at the ABA. And it held me in good stead, because when I was head of some groups, I had to have my little hands in everything. And when I oversaw 9 of the groups within the ABA, I had to deal with the understanding why some of the reports we had to do had to be done. So between those 2 things, when it really prepared me well for this position, where I knew what had to get done in a general sense, but had the ability to make changes that I felt I needed to make, with input obviously from the leaders, but with their support, we were able to make a lot of changes that I felt like, yeah, I'm making a difference here. I'm really helping this organization grow. And that was wonderful.
Now, I know that you've created relationship with, all the different types of fellows, and I know that you also really get to know the newer fellows fairly well as well. But what is the sense, or what do you see, because I know, like, coming in, I know fellows are like just really excited about the entire thing. What is your impression of new fellows when they get in? Like, what would you tell them that what they should really do? Because I know that I've told Hirschberg, different things about, hey, you got to look at this. This is what you got to do. What would be your advice to them?
I would say to them, obviously get involved with your chapter, but more than that, get involved with your colleagues across the country. Find those people who you can learn to trust, so that if you're in Texas and you have a case in Virginia, you can call so-and-so, and that that they're going to do their best for you. And that, I think, is the true value of the academy, as opposed to being just in a regular bar association. And, I was a member of the ABA as an associate member, so I know they'll take anybody. But here, there is such a vetting process, that you can be confident that when you refer a case, when you look for somebody in Pennsylvania, or you look for somebody in Virginia, or you look for somebody in Illinois, that you have good resources. And that interconnectedness means that when they have a case in your jurisdiction, that, they're going to know who to call. So being involved in the academy really does help your practice. And as much as I love the academy, if you weren't getting your money's worth out of it, why would you be a member? And the truth is that there's a lot of value here. And I think some that we don't even really, that is untapped. So finding what your passion is, whether it's membership or international law, or, whatever it is, finding your passion and devoting your time, and also not spreading yourself too thin. I mean, we have that you do no more than 3 committees, because you can't commit to 3 committees. So find the ones that you are most involved in, most that touches you in some way or another, and really work on that, to establish yourself in the academy.
So you wouldn't recommend being on like 7 committees?
I would not recommend it, because
Unless you're Kiilu. unless you're Kiilu, who,
yeah, I mean, when you have an 80-member committee and you get the same 20 people every single time, that tells you something. These people are not invested, and everybody's got, their time when they can't make a meeting or whatever. But when you consistently have the same people on there, it kind of tells you, you really need to find out what you want to become involved in. One of my favorite committees is legislation.
I was going to ask you, what is one of your favorite committees? So you just answered that question for me. Awesome.
Well, I have 2 that are really, really close to my heart.
The legislation, and what's the other one?
racial, ethnic, and religious considerations in family law.
I was gonna say RERC.
RERC. You know, we have seen so much, and Mary has dealt with every single one of those webinars, et cetera, that we do, or when we did the meetings. There were some really intense coming to terms with how we felt as a minority, and how people who were of the majority were finding things that they didn't, prejudices, et cetera, they didn't even know they had. And Cassie and I have talked about this too, where some of the stuff we didn't even realize that we had feelings about certain things with respect to you know, our background, et cetera. So that's been, in a lot of ways, that's the committee of my heart. I mean, drinks and diversity, listening to the judges talk about what they can do, you know, listening to a law professor talk about the challenges they face. I think that's really one of them. And legislation, just because that is one of the most dedicated groups that we have. And they really are looking at legislation in general, and then to listen to them discuss what's going on in their particular chapters or their particular states' jurisdictions, you know, is interesting. And I'm not a lawyer. So for me to be interested in what's going on with the UPA and all the things that they really do, I'm just really impressed with that.
So I don't know, and this is funny because you were like, you know, the first person that was ever, you know, did the fireside chat. And so Mueller and I had like questions, like we literally like had 100 and something questions that we had like gone back and forth with, and you know, and that's where like all the fireside chats are kind of like, we kind of created a thing, and we kind of would pick and choose those questions, you know, within that. But you know, I can't ask you the superhero one because you'd already answered that one. I can't ask you the one with regards to, you know, if you were surrounded, if you're on a desert island.
I have one. I have one.
What's that?
Okay. You're not from Chicago. You're coming in for the academy meetings. Maybe you're a new member or whatever. Maybe you come in for the meetings. Name 2 or 3 restaurants that you gotta hit when you're in Chicago.
I would say Topolobampo, but if you don't have a reservation 5 months in advance, you're probably not going to get in. Frontera Grill, though. So any of the Rick Bayless's restaurants there, even Shoko, if you're just going for sandwiches and wonderful soups. Another one of my favorite restaurants is Sunda, which is Asian fusion. Excellent food. And then I would say Trattoria 10, which is a little Italian place that is kind of stuck in the loop. But really, there's very few places you can go in Chicago and not eat well.
Sure.
So this would be a question I think that we started asking after you. But the question would be, if you were interviewing yourself, what question would you ask yourself?
I think I would ask myself,
Yes.
I think I would ask myself, what would you have done differently during COVID? Because that was definitely a seat of our pants.
There was no playbook for anybody.
There was no playbook for anybody. We ended up doing so many things on the fly on that, canceling contracts. I was packed for mid-year. because that hit in March and we were getting ready. I was getting on a plane in 2 days. But all of the things that we had to develop on the fly, because that's really when we got better with the newsletter, the webinars, we took over that as opposed to using an outside company because we were doing so many of them so quickly. The good things that came out of it was the fact that we ended up doing a lot of committee meetings via Zoom.
Yep.
And before, David, you only met at annual and mid-year.
Got it.
You might have had a conference call, but the amount of participation by members really started with Zoom, and which is why, although we still need to meet in person, I think that that's been the biggest impact that we've had on.
So what is the thing that you would have done differently? Because
Right.
that
So
was the
Jill,
question that
what
you were
would you
about
have
to
done
ask.
differently during
What is
COVID?
the thing that you would have done differently?
I think we would have hit technology a lot harder from the onset. I mean, I wish I had a magic wand that I could have seen, but nobody, when we started this, thought that it was going to be,
Right.
to go as long as it did. So we were a little bit slow on the uptake when it came to really looking at technological ability. So that's really what I would have done differently. I think we'd have jumped into it a lot sooner. Instead of putting our toe, we would have just dived in head first.
So I'm gonna go a little off script if that's okay, Kiilu.
Absolutely.
So
There is no script. That's a great thing.
exactly, which is the best part. So, Kiilu told me what our fireside chat was all about when we selected you. And so I have a question for you in honor of your, retirement. If I could transport you to your 30th birthday, so it's your 30th birthday party, and you're going to give your 30-year-old self one piece of advice in that moment, what would be the piece of advice that you would give?
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the setbacks, enjoy the advances, cherish the people that you come in contact with, be open to new experiences, and don't be afraid, because nothing, Mary has heard me say this before, we're not doing brain surgery. We may make mistakes, and we have made mistakes, and we will make mistakes, and I don't care who it is, whoever this new staff is going to be, they're going to make mistakes. But there is nothing, you own up to your mistakes, you figure out how to fix it, and you go forward. But, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to try something and have it not go. And I would tell myself, just enjoy it. It's been a great career. From the time I was with the ABA to the pinnacle of being with the Aaml. It's been a hell of a life, and the places that I've gotten to see, the people that I've gotten to know, has just been extraordinary. And that's why when we're going to Houston right after the annual meeting for a day where Pat's cousin is going to celebrate his 50th wedding anniversary. So we're going down there for the dinner, and I got a whole list of people who say, oh, give me a call while you're here, and we'll get together. And that's the beauty. And Kiilu, I'm going to be pulling up with my truck and the camper to Scottsdale, because
I got a place right next door where you can park it, so we're all set with that. We're all good on that. So we're almost up against an hour, and we like to try to. Mary says that we have to keep these, tight, in shape and everything.
And we all listen to Mary on these things.
I do. I actually do listen.
I do too.
Yeah. So Mary, in honor of Jill, I'm going to allow you to ask the final question.
Don't put her on the spot or anything.
You answered what I would have asked you already. Did you enjoy this ride? But you already said that. So, oh my goodness. Will you miss us?
I will. I mean, I really will. I'll miss you and Tom and Taz. I will miss all of the fellows.
Which fellow will
many.
you miss the most?
Uh,
You the most, Kiilu.
Making sure we're all on the same page on that one.
By the way, I really believe that those two things can coexist. That you can be happy that you're retired and enjoying your retirement and miss the Aaml and miss the staff and miss the people. A lot of people look at it, listen, I'm not retired, but a lot of people look at that as two conflicting things. They're not, right? They're
Right.
not. You can be happy in your retirement and still miss, the job, still miss the people, still miss the camaraderie.
I
Yeah.
see Jill just going right out to her garden and just playing in the dirt right away.
Will you respond if we email you at 4 o'clock in the morning? That's what I want to know.
Probably.
I'm gonna have to get your email address because I'm not gonna have it. That's what I
Be
gotta get from you.
careful,
I
by the
gotta
way.
get your personal email address.
That's right.
So, all right. So this has been Fireside with. We'll do Hirschberg and Kiilu. I liked it. That's how we're gonna do it. Fireside chat with Hirschberg and Kiilu. Special guest Jill, who's on the verge of retirement, and a special guest appearance by Mary. Everyone, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all. Mary, I don't even think I've ever seen you in Chicago. I think you're gonna have to make like a special trip there just one day, just so we can hang out. That time. Maybe
That would be
Jill. Jill's retiring. She might let you out of the office just to come see us. And I won't tell on you.
I'll have to break out of my bubble.
Right. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Jill's gonna leave.
I'll tell you, that's a very freeing thought. What are you gonna do? Fire me?
That's right.
All right, everyone. Happy Sunday.
Have a great
And thank you for taking the time to, get together. And I know that Sundays are a difficult time, but I just want to say thank you. Appreciate it. And Jill, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you have done, not just for the Academy, but I will also say for me. So I do appreciate everything.
Thank you so much. I love you all.
All right. See you guys.
Good night.